Okay, there you are. Good. I was gonna
There
make
I
sure you're
am.
unmuted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I'm Debbie Olken from KMA Human Resources Consulting, and we are just delighted to bring Chris Yonker to all of you to share his wisdom. KMA, as most of you probably know, full service HR consulting firm, been in business now 14 years, do all kinds of HR support for all levels of company. Not only HR, but also compensation, and also have a full service recruiting division. We love to work with our clients and prospective clients in any way that helps them support their HR. I want to thank Chris for coming to us with this presentation, which I think is going to be really interesting. And if you've looked at his website, certainly he's all about vision and making confident decisions. And I think as we hopefully get finished with 2020 sometime soon, not soon enough, it's a great way to look forward to 2021. Along those lines, if you have HR things you want to talk about going into 2021, don't hesitate to contact me. And lastly, this session is eligible for SHRM credits. And if you would like to get that certification, you can email Jenny, Jenny, at kmahr.com. And we're happy to get you those credits. Or if you want to talk HR, get in touch with me, Debbie. Thank you so much. And Chris, I guess I'll let you take it away.
All right. Well, thank you. And thanks to everyone at KMA for collaborating and allowing us to put this on. We had close to 100 people, signed up for this. So we'll see how many are able to join us. But before we go any further, we are recording this and it will be shared with you. Which I think is important because I really, I'm going to invite everyone right now. I know this might be difficult to do, but I'm going to invite you to take your cell phone and mute it and put it aside and whatever else you got that could distract you. Take literally 55 minutes of your life right now and see if you can dedicate it to this topic. And I'll talk about our challenge with that, what I just asked you to do, which is up to you if you do it. But what I just asked you to do already, I think a lot of us get into resistance. I'll talk about why that is and what that means to us. So let's talk about what we're really looking to do here today. And I think really ideally is we're looking to accomplish two outcomes, okay? Number one is help you make decisions that are best for you. Okay, I want to point to you, not in a rude way, but best for you. You being the operative, most important person here. Second thing, well, I want to help you make decisions that you feel good about, that this choice is salad. This choice is salad. And I think one thing to realize, everyone here, is that if we look at what it really means to decide something, I'm going to talk about why there's so much challenge right now. Okay. And if we haven't already figured this out, and I'm saying, well, you're kind of being assumptive, but if you're here, I could assume that you want help making decisions in your life, whether it's personal or professional, they're connected. And if we think they're separated, we're wrong. Okay. So that's my opinion on that. But there's really two things that I think a lot of us have, and I'm speaking for myself here, okay? You're not alone. As human beings, we have a difficult time with change, and we have a difficult time with uncertainty. Change and uncertainty are two key things that we have a very difficult time navigating, typically. And my work has really, over the years, has evolved, I've got over 20 years of experience working at 3M, working with sales teams, responsible for well over $100 million worth of business, leading execution and strategy. I've spent over 10 years now doing executive coaching, consulting, and working with families through transition and succession. And the bottom line, all this work that I've done, even in the NLP, neuro-linguistic programming background I have, and getting certified in that, and working with Tony Robbins' mentor Wyatt Woodsmall, all of these things have led me to this point where I realize everything comes down to decision. I really, no matter what it is, it comes down to decision. And what I want you to help you do is become more conscious in regards to how you navigate, how you define uncertainty, as well as how we navigate change. Because the fact of the matter is I think all of us are looking forward to 2021. Okay. Personally, for me, I mean, I'll say my father-in-law passed away in February. My dad passed away in September. My mom is right now in the hospital and not in a great state as I sit here with you today. And then obviously our business and some of our clients' businesses have massively been disrupted. And then we're also, we have a 6-year-old that we've navigated and my wife operates a business. So believe you me, I've been in the boat in regards to navigating change. I'm with you. But the fact of the matter is how do we consciously navigate change? And if we think, as much as I want 2021 to be here, if we think that 2021 is going to come, boom, happy new year. And then the reality around us is going to shift magically. And then shit's just going to change, excuse my French, out of the gate. You're wrong. The only thing that can possibly change, now it would be a new year. We can create hope. We can create good momentum out of that. And that's all positive. But the fact of the matter is we have to change. We have to change. And the organizations that we lead, they also need to change. And we need to do a better job in general, leading people to be okay with change. And we, quite frankly, guys, this is not a new topic. Helping people change and navigate change has been a topic for several years. It's accelerating now. And if you will, God's thrown gas on the fire through all the disruption that's occurring and how well you can adapt for yourself personally, how well you can have, 30, I've had 30 years of experience now being a martial artist. I'm 7th degree black belt. And one of the gifts I've gotten from that training is how to have composure in chaos. This mirage of chaos around us. How do we have composure? Composure is really important. And today we're going to talk about making decisions in a composed way, because the fact of the matter is, as we look to decide, what decide means is to cut off all possibilities. It's to take, okay, I'm going to go this way and I'm doing it. And that's it. That's a decision. Okay. So that's what decide is. So let's look at the challenges with that. One of the major challenges right now that folks have around decision-making, and this is why it's part of my model, okay? And as we get into stage 1 here in a minute, I'm going to walk you through a 5-stage process that you'll have that you can use today. But as we look at where we're at typically, before COVID, people, most folks, and I work with business leaders, okay? I work with executives, I work with CEOs, I work with business leaders. And the fact of the matter is that business leaders are high achievers. Is that okay to say? Everyone out there, we have anyone can raise their hand and say, yeah, you know what? I'm a high achiever. All right, thank you for raising your hand. And the fact of the matter is that it's okay to be a high achiever. But the challenge with high achiever is there's a blessing and a curse with it. I'm not going to have time to go into all that today, but we're wired to get stuff done. We're good at making lists, checking boxes. We feel good about checking boxes and accomplishing things and going after and setting goals and going after and accomplishing and then competing and all of those things high achievers love. But the fact of the matter is most folks, when they come into my world, have created success, they've created outcomes, but they've done it in a way where they carry a lot of stress and a lot of tension. Now you throw in something called COVID, which creates more uncertainty and change and what's going to happen and when's the vaccine going to be here and how soon can it be and what's going to happen in my business and how long is it going to be and is the government going to give more money to some of these businesses and all these questions we can ask we do not have the answers to right now, but they can create stress. They can create tension and how we look at them. They don't do anything. We do this. Okay. Here's the key, guys. We create the stress. We create the tension. And then it puts us in a state of reactivity. And reactivity is fight or flight response. My inflammationary response goes up. And now I'm in a state of fear. And believe it or not, guys and gals, coming into this year, many high achievers I've been working with already were running at a state where when they came in and started working with me, there's like they've become callous and immune to the thresholds they've built in their nervous system in regards to how well they're trying to tolerate this energy of the state of fight or flight, where the parasympathetic nervous system gets set at a new set point. But that new set point is not a healthy homeostasis. It's just not. In fact, the inflammation in the body is already rising. This has all been studied and documented. So, first order of business to understand this: tension is contagious. Does anyone here work on teams? I bet everybody's going to raise their hands, right? Somehow, some way you work on a team. So tension is contagious. Think about that. People in our environment, on our leadership teams, even working virtually with us, whatever it is, if there's tension in the environment, it's contagious. We want to get out of that. I'm going to talk about a way to get out of that today. But also, I want you to understand tension is an unconscious process, meaning that I can get into a state of tension, and when my body does this, it happens on its own, unconsciously. If I'm not guarding the gates, and my wife and I, we keep each other in check on this. She owns a business where she instructs yoga and does corporate programs. And the fact of the matter is, virtually, by the way, but the fact of the matter is that, we're good at saying, hey, control your state, because we know that if one of us is in this overdrive, high stress load, and the other one's not consciously aware of it, they're going to take it on. And then our daughter's going to take it on. And then our whole house is going to be in this state. And we don't even realize that we're all stressed out. So we got to think about this in our homes, and we got to think about this in our work. And for a lot of us, where is home and where is work? Where the hell's the line, right? It's like our barriers. And for a lot of us working from home, our barriers have been diminished, and it's a challenge. So relaxation is a conscious process. Make sure you get that today. If I want to relax, that's what we say, okay, I'm going to listen to Calm. I'm going to listen to Headspace. I'm going to do guided meditation. I'm going to go for a walk in the middle of my day. Relaxing, and on this topic, I'll talk about this potentially later, but on this topic, write this down and ask yourself this question: what is my process to recover? What is my process to recover, and how have I built it into my life? Recovery rituals are extremely necessary, always, but even more so now, and really important. Okay. And I do a lot of work in helping people build resilience, and that's not what we're all here for today, but that isn't part of that program. And I just wanted to put that out there. Okay. So, recovery ritual, very important. Make sure it's scheduled and keep it. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your families, and you owe it to your organization. So let's talk about this 5-stage process and what we're looking to do. And one thing I want to point out is that if I'm in stress, worry, and fear, here's one of the reasons why, guys. Okay, it's not because just of like, well, we want to feel good. Isn't that good enough? Let's paint happy trees. It's beyond feeling good. I'm all about feeling good and having peace, having joy and fulfillment. But the fact of the matter is that if I'm in high state of worry, fear, stress, opportunities that are literally around myself and my leadership team, we are going to miss them because we're navigating from fear. And this is worth writing down. You cannot get to where you want to go by trying to avoid what you don't want to happen. What I want to avoid, what I don't want to happen might be over here. And if I'm focused on avoiding that, it may not get me still where I want to go. It might get me somewhere else, but it doesn't necessarily get me where I want to go. So navigating for our own personal vision And our own core values is always the first step in conscious decision making. Always, always, always. Because if we're not satisfying ourselves at the whole, then I guess we just get to be a martyr. And this wasn't a class on being a martyr. Okay. I don't know anyone that offers that program. I have some people in my family who've mastered that strategy. They're very good. But we're not here for that today. Okay. Ideally, let's talk about utopia here. Okay. I've built a hierarchy of fulfillment, and this is the work I do with my clients. And we actually dive deep into this work on one-on-one work and through the work that we do around succession, or even our vision retreats that we go on. Not right now, but typically our vision retreats that we do, in which we're launching some of these virtually here going into the new year. But regardless, think about this. At the bottom, it's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy in a way. You got well-being at the bottom. And then as you move up, you got your mindset and emotional mastery, your connection to something beyond yourself, your loving relationships, your social life, the experiences you want to create, owning and mastering your business, your business side, then financial, and then the legacy and contribution. Pretty much all of our worlds can fit into these departments, right? They can fit into these departments. And as we know, today we're kind of centered on these bottom two, right? Like my goal right now, like I know with you guys and gals, we're probably going to have a hard time talking about a 3-year vision right now. You'd like to say, Chris, just tell me how to get to the next 100 days. Can you just help me get to the next 100 days not in a way that I can enjoy it, be fulfilled, and have the highest level of peace and ease in the process? Right? So we've kind of collapsed time a little bit, and I get that. But I understand we want to navigate towards we want to go, no matter whatever state we're in, doesn't matter. If I'm a martial artist and I got 15 people surrounding me, I still want to stay safe. 5, want to stay safe. 1, I want to stay, the outcome doesn't change. My core value of protecting myself doesn't change. And it's the same in regards to how we navigate things. So keep that in mind as we go forward. And, this resource, part of this resource comes with my vision workbook that I'll talk about later on, that you guys can get if you want it. It's free. So, okay, here we go. Stage 1. Okay, so we're gonna go through a 5-stage process here, and I'm gonna allow for some time a Q&A here at the end. Again, if I'm going fast, we're good on time. But if we're going fast, this will be recorded, so you're good. You can listen to it later. All right. So step 1 is ground yourself and get out of fight or flight as much as possible. Now, when I work one-on-one with folks, and or when I'm working with executive teams, I'll either lead them through guided meditation, or I will teach them how to meditate on their own. So I'm working with someone over a period of time. And so these people if you're resistant to the idea right away, that's fine. You can be. It's totally cool. But there's a massive amount of study and science on this. And the fact of the matter is, everyone out there totally believes that we should have strength training and cardio, and there's good, strong protocol to build the body. No one out there is going to deny that. But how much time do we spend working on our mind and controlling our thinking? And if you can't control your thinking, you're going to have a hard time with decision making. Think about it. It doesn't make sense, right? So I want to ground myself and get out of fight or flight, and also at the same time get better at running my mind and going through this process I'm going to run through. So you say, okay, well, how do I do that? Okay, you didn't give me anything tangible there. I'm going to give you something tangible right now. If you have a device, and this slide will be shared with you, but this is a picture of it, and this is an app. It's free, no cost to get, and it comes with iOS, and also you can get it with Google Chrome, and it's called the Breathing app. And in essence, it's very simple to use. That's high achievers. Here's the problem with high achievers. We typically, when we hear about meditation, we don't like it because we can't win at that. And if you can't win at something, then why even bother doing it? That doesn't even make sense. And meditation is not about winning anything. It's about something we're doing to create an experience to get to a result. But we're constantly trying to will and force results as achievers. Meditation doesn't work that way. So this breathing app, actually what it does, bottom line is, it was developed by a gentleman named Eddie Stern and Dr. Deepak Chopra, another person. Might have heard of Dr. Chopra. So Eddie Stern is an author and a very well-respected, known yogi in the world. And from science, they spend quite a bit of money and time studying this through some universities in New York. They found that if you change your breath from 12 to 15 inhalations and exhalations a minute, which is what normally we do as human beings, and you pull it back to 5 or 6, you automatically stimulate the vagus nerve, which is the largest nerve in the body, touches all the major organs, and it also controls the parasympathetic brake it creates that stress override. So you can actually utilize this on a regular basis, lower cortisol, and also they found that you can regulate blood pressure over a period of time if you use it at least for 100 days on a daily basis, for 11 minutes. By the way, it's 11 minutes on that one. But this is all the documentation are getting on it. But the fact of the matter is, when I'm working with teams, I'm like, hey, let's take this thing out. Let's listen to it for 3 minutes at 5 or 6 count. It gives you one tone to breathe in. You just breathe in with the tone. Gives you one tone to breathe out. You breathe with a tone. I mean, it's pretty idiot proof, right? You can't, us high achievers can't, we can win at that game. So it's in and out. And this right there will lower, it actually even lowers inflammation in the body over time. So this is here's a tool. I'm giving you a gift. Use it. Some of you won't, because you don't think it's necessary, and that's fine. Hey, it's all our movie. I'm helping you do things in a more conscious way. All right, so that's step number 1. Get grounded. Just gave you a tool. Okay, step number, again, there'll be Q&A here as time allows at the end. Stage number 2. Well, what we want to do is we want to clarify what we want, and we want to make sure this is anchored in our values. And the fact of the matter is that this is not as easy as we think. I'll give you an example. I was working with a family business, and it was a father, 3 kids, and I'll call them kids, but they're the same age as me, so it's not really a kid, but regardless, they're the next generation. And what ends up happening is that we started navigating. The problem they were running into is what do we do with all of our business entities? Who's going to run what? Who's going to own what? And how's it going to look? So I started with each person, as I always do, and I got clear on what do you want for you in your life, that whole fulfillment cycle, right? Those stages, how do we want this to look for you and your family? And I take them individually. And then I'm looking for the organization. We do the same process. What's the organization about? What's the vision of the organization? What's the core values of the organization? What's the organization for? What kind of client experiences does the organization bring to the world? And all of these things. And then I'm taking the individuals in the business. And then I'm looking for, where are we in parallel? Where are we not? Where are we congruent? Where are we not congruent? Where are we aligned and misaligned? And then the fact of the matter is, his daughter, when I found out what she really wanted, she wanted to be in the medical industry. None of their business was even associated with that. She was miserable. And here's what I want you guys to get from this all. The reason, you could guess, what do you think the reason is that she wouldn't say anything? Because she was afraid of how her parents would respond, her brothers would respond, and she didn't want to let them down. And this is the stuff that happens, guys and gals. This is the stuff that happens. The number one, and this has also been studied, and a hospice worker sat on deathbeds, sat there and interviewed people. What did you regret? No one regretted not working harder, by the way. No one regretted not spending more days at the office. The number one regret, though, was, and I believe a lot of people are waking up right now because of what's going on with COVID. The number one thing was I wish I made decisions that were best aligned for me and what I want to create for my life, and honoring my truth, not worrying about the response of others. And it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But we need to get clear on what it is that we want that's anchored to what we value. And when I say values, I'm talking about like, oh, I value my health, or I value my family. And the Buddhists refer to us human beings as hungry ghosts, because we've wired ourselves oftentimes, especially Americans, we've wired ourselves to pursue, external. Oh my gosh, look at this person on Instagram. I got to live like them. They're a rock star. But meanwhile, that person's, not happy. But we don't know that, because I've worked with a bunch of these huge influencers, some of the best-selling authors. And let me tell you, they when they started working with me, they weren't happy. They were miserable. But everybody else thought that followed their feed, thought they were doing amazing. Life was beautiful. But the fact of the matter is, there's so much extrinsic motivation of things we want and how we want to live. But we will need to turn and go intrinsic. Happiness is worth writing down. Happiness, joy, peace, they come from inside. They don't come from outside. Happiness, joy, and peace don't come from something that we do externally to make that happen, though most of us typically have wired ourselves that way. So clarify, what do you want and anchor to your values? Stage 2. Stage 3. Now this one is going to require some help. Okay. Stage 3 is about finding reality and identifying blind spots. And the fact of the matter is, we can't see them. We cannot see. I have folks that I've hired who coach me to call me on my BS, because I can't see it. I can't see it. Why? I don't know. It's how it is. It's okay. So we realize that we can't see our own blind spots, and it's important to leverage, this is where our organization thrives, but regardless, find someone who can really, truly make sure they're clear in what you want. They're not going to take that away from you, right? They want to support that, and then call you. Now, let me give you an example. So, this was also another succession project. Actually, you know what? This one's come up several times in one-on-one coaching, just even recently. But in essence, here's the story of all of them. I can think of 4 people right off the bat. Boom, boom, boom. Things that we figure out what they want. They can figure out what they want. We get clear on it. We start aligning some of these principles. And what ends up happening typically is we're working forward, and a challenge presents itself. And then we're pushing harder because we want to overcome the challenge. The idea is push. Not my idea, but a lot of folks. And because we know eventually we get a breakthrough. And then eventually we get that breakthrough. And then we go, oh yeah, yes, I deserve it. I got success. Celebrate. Next goal, on to the next goal. And it's a cycle. And the cycle really is that, see, there's an undercurrent. And here's the undercurrent that needs to be identified. Do I believe? Now, here's finding realities about beliefs. I'm going to walk you through an illustration. We're going to go through an example here in a minute too. But I want to find, what do I believe about, like, ask yourself, what's my story around this? What's my story about the reason why I don't have it? What's the reason why I can't get there? I'm on a restaurant chain at the beginning of COVID. And people can't come eat here, so I can't be successful. Whereas some folks go like, well, how can I adapt, and how can I do meals from home, or how can I do takeout, or whatever that might be, right? But if I've already defined that what I can't do, but a lot of us Westerners in particular, we've wired ourselves to believe that I must work hard for money or to have success, whatever success means to you. And B, I must struggle to overcome. And then C, only then can I feel good about the reward. And I was recently working with an executive who decided to sell his company, and we're in the final stages of that right now. And he will have enough money for the rest of his life at age 50 to do whatever he wants, however he wants. And he's also made some other people millionaires in the process. Okay. And the fact of the matter is that helped him get there. And the fact of the matter is right away, we're dealing with guilt issues. It's funny because he's wired himself that it's this part of it's been so easy that if I haven't had to struggle through it, it's not something I deserve. I can't feel good about it. And that is, that's a situation, right? So what do I believe about myself? And here, the two areas I dive into in the one-on-one coaching is, what do we believe about you? You can write down, I am blank. The beliefs about what you have about you are one of the two areas that actually the two biggest illusions that we all have. The illusion about who we believe we are, and the illusion, number two, the illusion about how we believe the world works and who we are in it. Those two illusions drive everything, all of our madness, all of it. And we can, through a process, we can actually address who we are and what we think and believe so that we can actually live a life that has more joy, fulfillment, without taking away our secret sauce, without taking away how we get to where we want to go. It's redirecting our drive. And that's part of the process that we work through with our clients. But I want you to get this point though. What do you think and believe? And then the question you want to ask yourself when you get through this one is, what are your stories? Stage 4, create leverage. This is the why. Why do you want this? Why is it important? Why do you care? Why do you care? And you say, well, because, I mean, health and wellness is such an easy one for folks to like touch because it touches so much of us, right? We can ride a certain long and then till a certain point, and then maybe you have some health issues and maybe you're getting closer to midlife, and then you're going like, well, I'm not going to be forever. And then I don't want to be this, and this, or the doc says I got to do X, Y, and Z. And that's typically, that can help create leverage for people. It doesn't always, can be a health scare creates leverage for people. Could be a pandemic creates leverage for people. But the fact of the matter is when, we're motivated by two things, what we want to obtain and what we want to avoid, the two things I talked about earlier, right? So to pursue and to avoid, these are the two conditions in our neurology from beginning of time. And so we want to leverage part of how we're set up, and our why can be why it's good and what would happen if I didn't. I used to work with a good friend of mine who actually wrote a book with Jack Canfield, and it was a book on addiction. And what he would do in his work is he would, with addicts, is he would have them go on their timeline and create what their life will look like a year from now if they don't get clean, and really run the movie and amplify that movie so they can see what they're looking at as a future reality. And it creates leverage in the moment, right? So that's a strategy. There's a lot of strategies of using timeline work. But the biggest problem that we have, though, is staying in the moment. Us warriors, me have been included. I'm a recovering warrior. Is any other recovering warriors out there? Am I the only recovering warrior? But when we worry, that's what we do. We go out to the future and we think about what can go wrong or what can happen that we don't like and that we want to avoid. And we're running the damn movie. So another plug for why we need to meditate, so we can turn that damn film off. It's not helpful. Okay, stage 5, decisions. Decisions are, now I say, okay, I'm deciding to do this. I'm clarifying what it is that's holding me back and what I need to shift, what I need to reframe. And then now I just need to define a strategy, a process, and an action to move forward on. And here's one thing, conscious focus is critical. This is what people typically, it's like, well, it's not, they don't have enough willpower. It's not a willpower. It's a focus problem. It's a focus power problem. If I'm self-aware enough to say, you know what, I am going to drink 4 to 5 liters of water a day, which I do and I've been doing for a few years now. When I made the decision to do this, I got a 1 liter bottle so I could track it. And then I drank it, and then I built the day of how often I need to get through the bottle. So this is liter number 4, and as I'm moving into the afternoon. You say, how can you possibly sit there and not have to go pee? You might be asking yourself. Actually, my body adjusted to this level of hydration, which is actually really good for me. But the fact of the matter is that was a decision with a process and actions. But I needed to be self-aware enough to know, oh, wait a minute, I got to get my water. Or, you know what? I chose not to eat that way, so I'm not going to do that right now, even the opportunity to present it itself, because I created a great story of why I should. Okay? So decisions, focus, stay focused. Even if you have one action, that's something to move forward. Okay, so I'm going to run through a quick illustration here, and then I'm going to give you some additional resources, and then we're going to do Q&A. So here's an example. I'm going to use, when we ask for feedback from folks, there's 3 different camps out there, by the way. There's the camp of help me with my balance for myself or balance my team, managing folks outdoor that are external, or helping people be the best they can be today so that they can show up. And employee engagement was already an issue, by the way. Everyone realized that employee engagement was already an issue going into the pandemic. And now that folks are pulled in multiple directions. And here's one thing for you. I'm sure you all know this, but for you HR folks out there, I know there's some bunch of HR folks that are here. I just read yesterday that there's been like, I can't remember the number, but it's like millions of women have left the workforce since COVID. Millions. And right now we are running the lowest level of ladies in the workforce since the 80s. That's a problem. That's a problem to me. We need ladies in the workforce. They're important. They play a critical role. So that's that. So let's talk about, as I looked at the folks that are out there, I've got business owners, I've got people on a leadership team. I've got HR, people play the HR function, which is like, hey, how do we develop talent, right? How do we leverage talent is what HR to me is a part of that world, right? And then we get people in business development, right? How do we grow? How do we develop business? So I'm going to use illustration life balance because we can all relate to it regardless of where you're at in the camp, even though I can help all of those camps. Life balance. So let's say I want it. So, okay, great. So I went through the first process, did the breathing app. Questions I would ask myself, what's life balance mean to you? So someone say, well, we want to grow our business next year. What's that mean to you? Or I want to get back to 10 million a year with 15% margin. Okay, great. What's that look like, right? How do you know you're getting there? How do you know you're moving that way? So anything that we're looking to do, we want to define what it means. What does it mean? Life balance is a funny one because you can ask 3 people what it means and you can get 3 different answers. So you got to define what it means for you. And how do you know when you have it? You say, well, it doesn't exist. Okay, well, guess what? It doesn't exist is stage 3. You jumped ahead. If you say it doesn't exist, then you have a blind spot that says it doesn't exist. So now I've created a story of why I can't have it. So it doesn't matter. Forget it. I have it then. Okay. So how do you know when you have it? How do you know when you have it? Right. So stage 3, what is finding our blind spots? What do you believe about success? You say, why? Well, success is life balance, Chris. Yeah. But if I believe, because get this, everybody. Who here still has work to do? Is everyone still out there? Who here has still got work to do? Okay. I do too. I'm not the only one. And who here has more, who here believes that there's probably not enough time to get everything done? Oh, it's most of you. Okay. Well, isn't that interesting? We're all locked into that paradigm. Like that's just the situation. So, we want to do is get clear on what you believe about success. And the fact of the matter is we got more to do than we have time. We believe that. Then why are we convincing ourselves that we got to get more out of our damn day and work harder and work more hours? We create, oh, just one more thing. Just one more thing. Oh, I got to do this. And meanwhile, we're stretching ourselves out, stretching ourselves out, stretching ourselves out. So in this, that would be, if I was working with you, I'd be talking about that. Well, where are you building boundaries and how are you building in recovery? And then how are you committing to that discipline, self-discipline, the ability to give yourself a command and keep it. Okay. That's what self-discipline is and what it means. All right. The next example, finding leverage. Of course, why do you want to have it? Well, maybe it'll take away from your health. Maybe it'll take away from your family if you didn't have life balance. I don't know. Usually that's where people pay and sacrifice from my experience. And then number 5 is apply strategies, right? So what's the strategy? Well, calendar, block time and calendar. You just heard me say it. Discipline, develop discipline. You say you're going to do something, you freaking do it. If you don't do it, you just told your subconscious mind you don't follow through on things, which actually affects your self-image and your self-esteem, in case you didn't know. That's a fact. So if you're saying you want to doing something and you don't follow through, every time you say something that you don't follow through and do it, you are literally telling your subconscious mind, I don't do half the shit I say. And it's not going to line up with you. So if you give a command, follow it and don't over flip and commit. Don't. Okay. Structure and build structure. So that's an illustration of the walking through this process. So when I get this far, typically we're like, and I'm going to go to Q&A in here a second, but I got in trouble not some time ago when I was giving a talk. People were like, you didn't tell us any resources you have. I like the information you're sharing. What is this stuff? Or some people ask, what is it the hell that you do? Like, what really is that? Like, it's kind of hard to understand because you've got all this background. So here's what we do. We specialize in helping individuals and firms navigate change and transition. And our key ingredient is in a conscious way. It's all driven. Everything that we talk about in my firm is around mindset and alignment to what's best for the individuals. And if it's not, we can't do both, then we have a fit problem. We have a fit problem. Okay. So, my clients care about the people who work for them. They care about themselves. This is why I typically don't work with public companies, because public companies care about stock and stockholders and doing that. That's why I love working with private owned business owners, because typically we care most about the people we work with, and we care about our customers, and we care what's best for everyone, and that's a core value of our company. We help folks. Typically, people look when people usually come across our radar. Maybe they're navigating succession, looking to elevate their leadership team, or their work on organizational health. We use Patrick Lencioni's work there. Improving employee engagement, getting the best from people. That's a critical piece. Building a life vision and making it a reality. Building a business vision, and then growing sales and scaling. Obviously, I've got 20 years of sales experience. So, but my approach around that is, though, let's find a way to do this consciously, conscious selling, as well as for what's best for the salespeople and how they build their lives. All right, services that we typically provide. This is the menu offering. One-on-one coaching, small group workshops, executive roundtables. We do retreats. And then also we do a bit of retainer work with executive teams when we're coming alongside navigating something. And then speaking opportunities. And one thing I want to say to everyone here is I want to give you a few, if you like this information is really good. Aaron and I have blocked out, I can remember the number, between 12 and 15 slots where we're totally willing. I'm willing to come in virtually and do an encore presentation of this work with your team. Okay. So if you have like a leadership team or your whole organization, it doesn't really matter to me. It's kind of like, this is part of my space in the world of helping people navigate change in a conscious way and really truly expanding their consciousness and really their capacity for fulfillment. Like, that's my life mission, expanding consciousness, helping people be more fulfilled. If people are more fulfilled, they do better work. They're happier in their homes. Come on, guys and gals. Life's short. It's short. And things like COVID remind us we deserve to be happy, have joy, have peace. So let's get people engaged in the work that they're doing, and let's help them make conscious decisions so that everyone wins. Everyone wins. So I'm willing to dedicate up to 90 minutes of time, no hidden agendas, presenting this content. But the way I would do it is, the example I'd actually work with you and your team, and we walk through this process with the stuff you're wrestling with right now. We'll put that on the table and we'd walk through it, and I'll help you best I can. Call you on the BS, call you on the stories, help you realize what you need to do. And that's my gift to not only all of you, but even KMA and all the work that they do, because they care about people too, and they care about human resources. That tells me we care about people. That's why we do it. So that's what the encore presentation is at the bottom. Okay. Support we can provide today. You're going to get the slide. We'll get an email with this stuff. So I'm just going to bang through it. Free vision workbook. There's a website to get it. Also, I'm willing to 20-minute laser coaching. Whenever I do a talk, or this is a talk, or a workshop, I offer this. It's my way to give. It's my ripple. And so we always dedicate, there's slots in my calendar. They're pro bono slots where people can jump on a call with me for 20 minutes and there's a little form to fill out so I can show up and we can get right to business on what you're wrestling with, and I'll give you my insight. Okay. And also my email, chris@chrisyounker.com. If you want to talk about an encore presentation, is that we're going to work for us? What would that look like? Just email me. Okay. Just email me. No big deal. And then also, if you want to explore if I can help you or my organization can help, or I can even refer you to some of my network, there's my email, chris@chrisyounker.com. It's an invitation for any of you that feel called to do so. And with that, if you want to raise your hand or comment, I guess you can comment if you have a question, and then I can unmute you if you want. And I will take any questions that are in the audience right now. We have 10 minutes